to the 363 Brannan venue in the game. This is true. This very room is where there's been a lot of sweat being poured for months, because this is where the development team in San Francisco was sitting and making the game that you're going to appreciate today. The story started at another interesting location, which is on the 3rd Street side, which, for those who may have heard, is the building that the Rolling Stones magazine used to be in, and that's the place where we decided to make this rock and roll game. So about a few years ago, 4 years ago, we met with some gentlemen from a very small group. There were 4, called Game Tank, and they had developed a technology to make sound good between analog and digital. And we got interested in what they were doing, because we thought it'd be nice to have people who spend all these hours playing guitar games to actually learn something that would be a lifelong skill. So a few months later, actually, many months later, we also ended up talking with 2 very talented people in the group here, Paul Cross and Naoigo, and they were interested in making a game, and we decided to go make that game and give them the chance to make that game. So they delivered, as you will again see later. I want to say that this is a very important milestone for us, because this game is the first one we make in this office in San Francisco. We've been here for a long time, but this is the first time we're actually making a game in San Francisco. And this game answers something that's very dear to us. It's called real-life benefits in games. So when you play Rocksmith, you don't just end up having fun, because it's a game that is obviously a great product made by great game makers, but it's also something that you take with you, a lifelong skill, after you've been playing long enough, because it will take work. But once again, this is a game at first and at heart. It's a game made by great game makers, and I would like to introduce Paul now, who is the creative director.
We've been simulating this in the game for a while, and it's strange to actually stand up and feel it for real. So, yeah, as Nolan said, they picked up this Game Tank technology and then essentially challenged us to make a game from it. And we immediately thought, well, how are we going to make an immersive experience from that? How are we going to make something that allows guys like now myself to be able to play the guitar when we couldn't play? So we got thinking, and we came up with dynamic difficulty and all the interface and all these things that by now many of you will be familiar with. But something that you might not have had the chance to experience yet, but you will once you get the game at home or in your office, for many of you guys, is the fact that the progression is also dynamic. That the progression actually adjusts to you, and it looks at what you've been doing, and it thinks about that, and it suggests the next things you should do. And you'll see in the menus that it says Rocksmith recommends. That's because Rocksmith is tracking everything you do, and it will make recommendations for how you can get better. So that's shifting, because learning guitar is a very personal experience. We realize we can't have set goals, because some people won't be able to reach those goals from the beginning. They may be able to reach something a little bit lower, or maybe they're much, much better. So the whole entire game shifts to you. So please, today you're going to see little snippets of the game, little tasters, but really understand that when you get the time to spend here, or spend with the game, you really will learn to play the guitar. You really will get better and better, and the game will be encouraging you and pushing you in many different ways that hopefully we can show you. And at some point, as we can say officially today, you might decide to want to play it with a friend. And today we can officially say that there will be split-screen multiplayer, and you will have the opportunity to play. So with an additional real-time cable, you'll be able to plug in, split screen, 2 guitars, and play together. And each player will have their own dynamic difficulty, their own profile tracking, and they'll be able to play either rhythm or lead or whichever guitar parts they want to play. And that's everything I need to say, so I'll hand over to Jim. Mr. Jim Rosenberg.
Hello, great to be here. My name is Jim Rosenberg. I'm the president of the Epiphone division. We're part of Gibson Musical Instruments. If you don't know, Gibson and Epiphone have been around since the 1800s. We merged in 1957, and now I think we have really premier guitar company in the world. And we are very, very excited to be partnering with the premier gaming company in the world, Ubisoft. Cheers. So, I just wanted to tell a quick story. This is not our first partnership. Actually, I first met Laurent, God, I was thinking it was probably 20 years ago.
Close.
Yeah. He came to us and they were going to make some CD-ROMs that had guitar instruction. And that was kind of a step forward at that time anyway, because it was VHS tape. So you could actually move around in the instruction. But it was teaching you songs to play from start to finish, real classic rock songs. And he wanted to include like the real guitars that were used when the song was played. Like, so for example, like Paul McCartney used a Texan to play Yesterday. So he wanted to use an Epiphone Texan in the video. And it's really, you fast forward to today, and that's what this game is all about. It's about authenticity, and so that's why they call it authentic guitar games. And I sat down here in this office and went through about 100 images of guitars on the screen. And we tweaked them and adjusted them and made sure they were all correct. So we are very excited about this game. I think it's revolutionary. I think it's going to build, grow the number of guitar players, going to sell more guitars, and we are 100% behind it. So we are very proud to be partners. Thank you.
I don't think I'm supposed to go back.
There's a video now.
So I enjoy.
Basically is a little section of a song, typically something that's recognizable, and we want to break up songs into little sections, little riffs, little guitar parts, and have you practice those. And this is a way that any teacher would teach you to play a song. Basically, the game looks at how you're doing, and it'll let you know which sections you haven't done well, and you can go in and practice them. And we have 3 ways that we do that in our riff repeater. One of them is free speed, which just takes you through the song at your own pace, calculates your speed, and then decides, okay, you played it at 50% speed. And eventually, as you play this a bunch of times, your muscle memory gets better, you'll speed it up to be playing it at 100%. Another similar mode is the riff accelerator, which will actually calculate the time that it takes you to finish the song. And then it'll slow down the tempo of the song, and you'll try to play along with that slow tempo. And it'll continue to play that increasingly fast tempos until you play the riff at 100%. And yet another mode is called the riff level. So you're going to start at a low level, and as you get those correct, it's going to level you up. So another section of our game is called technique challenges. They're brief musical etudes, and they're basically little snippets of music that would teach you how to do specific techniques. Well, bend is a technique that you use on guitar where you actually bend the pitch of the string by pushing the string up on the fretboard. It's one of the more difficult techniques. We have a video that shows you how to do it in the game, and we're going to test you on it before we drop you into the actual technique challenge to make sure that you can do it correctly. Being a musician on the game is really exciting for me to try to include all of the different techniques and little guitar nuances we could support not only the beginning player, but that we can set you on the journey towards becoming an advanced player.
So now it's time to let your inner rock star shine. Thank you for coming, and please go and enjoy the product.